Hello everyone, today I will discuss about geometric sequence. Our objectives for today, we are going to define a geometric sequence, identify the common ratio and the next term of the sequence, find the nth term of the geometric sequence, and solve problems involving geometric sequence. So what is a geometric sequence? A sequence in which each term after the first can be obtained by multiplying the preceding term by a fixed constant called the common ratio. So let us find the common ratio. For number 1, we have 1, 6, 36, 216. So to find the common ratio, let us divide any term by the preceding term. So let us use 6 and 1. Let us divide 6 by 1. Our common ratio is 6. Next, 2, 8, 32. So let us divide 8 by 2. Our common ratio is 4. Next, negative 3, 9, negative 27. So let us divide 9 by negative 3. Our common ratio is negative 3. A sequence is geometric if there exists a number R called the common ratio. So, ang sequence ay matatawag na geometric pag merong nag-i-exist na common ratio. Pag walang common ratio, hindi siya geometric sequence. So, the common ratio R can be determined by dividing any term in the sequence by the term that precedes it. So, dividing any term in a sequence sa term before each term. Identify the common ratio and the next term in the following sequences. Number 1, 1, 2, 4, 8. So let us find first the common ratio. Let us divide 2 by 1. We have 2. So our common ratio is 2. So we have to identify the next term. Let us multiply the common ratio by 8. So 8 times 2, we have 16. Then 16 times 2, we have 32. Next, number 2, 80. 20 and 5. So to find the common ratio, let us divide 20 by 80. So 20 divided by 80. Ang 20 at saka yung 80 ay divisible by 20. So 20 divided by 20, we have 1. 80 divided by 20, we have 4. So our common ratio is 1/4. Multiply 1/4 by 5. So we have 5 times 1/4, that is 5/4. Then, after 5/4, multiply 5/4 by 1/4. So, in multiplying fractions, we just multiply the numerator, then also multiply the denominator. So, 5 times 1, we have 5. 4 times 4, we have 16. Next, 2, negative 8, 32, and negative 128. So, to find the common ratio, let us divide negative 8 by 2. So, our common ratio is negative 4. So, to find the next term after negative 128, let us multiply negative 128 by negative 4. And that is positive 512. So, the nth term of the geometric sequence is given by a sub n is equal to a sub 1 times r raised to n minus 1, where r must not be equal to 0. At yung a sub 1 is the first term and r is the common ratio. What is the 8th term of a geometric sequence 256, negative 128, 64, negative 32. So, what is the 8th term? So, let us find first the common ratio. Let us divide negative 28 by the preceding term, 256. So, negative 128 and 256 is divisible by their greatest common factor 128. So divide negative 128 by 128, we have negative 1. 256 divided by 128, we have 2. So our common ratio is negative 1 half. Then, yung a sub 1 natin ang first term ay 256. Then, we have to find the 8th term. So, ito yung nth term. 8th term. So, using the formula, a sub n is equal to a sub 1 times r raised to n minus 1. Substitute. So, a sub n, that is a sub 8 is equal to, so substitute a sub 1 is 256 times, common ratio is negative 1 half raised to n minus 1. So, yung n natin ay 8. So, 8 minus 1 kasi ito yung term na hinahanap natin. Ang nth term natin ay 8. Then, perform first. So, negative 1 half, then 8 minus 1, and that is, so negative 1 half raised to 7. Then, perform negative 1 half raised to 7. So, we have copy 8th term is equal to 256 times. So, simplify negative 1 times 7 times. So, since na add number yung exponent, so still yung sign ay negative 1. Then, multiply 2 7 times, and that is 128. So, our 8th term is the product of 256 and negative 1 over 128. So, 256 times negative 1, we have negative 256, then divide by 128, we have negative 2. So, ito yung 8th term, yung negative 2. What is the 10th term of the geometric sequence 8, 4, 2, 1? So, let us find the common ratio. Let us divide 4 by 8, that is 1 half. Kasi yung greatest common factor ng 4 at saka ng 8 ay 4. So, that is 1 half. So, yung a sub 1 natin ay 8. So, dito sa sequence, we have our first term 8. So, using the formula, a sub n is equal to a sub 1 times r raised to n minus 1. So, substitute a sub n. So, we are finding for the 10th term. So, we have a sub 10 or 10th term is equal to a sub 1 natin ay 8, 10 times common ratio 1 half raised to n minus 1. So, yung n ay 10 minus 1. Then, a sub 10 is equal to copy 8 times 1 half, then 10 minus 1, and that is 9. Next, 1 half raised to 9. So, a sub 10 is equal to 8, then multiply 1 9 times, that is still 1, positive 1. Then multiply 2 9 times, we have 512. Then, the 10th term is the product of 8 and 1 over 512. So, 8 times 1, we have 8 times 512, we have 512. So, our 10th term is 8 over 512. Next, find the missing term in 3, 12, 48. So, let us find the common ratio. Let us divide 12 by 3. So, that is 4. So, our common ratio is 4. So, to find the missing term to the right, after 48, we have to multiply 48 by 4. So, 48 times 4, we have 192. Next, the next term after 192, multiply 192 by 4, we have 768. Find the missing term in, so dito naman, meron tayong missing term sa left ng ating term. So, we have 32, 64, 128. So, let us divide 64 by the preceding term, 32. So, our common ratio is 2. So, to find the missing term to the left, we have to divide the term by the common ratio kasi pa-left yung term natin. So, kukunin natin yung preceding term, hindi yung next term. So, kasi pa-left or preceding term yung kukunin natin, we have to divide 32 by the common ratio 2. So, 32 divided by 2, we have 16. Then, sa left side ng 16 or the preceding term before 16 ay, so divide 16 by common ratio 2, we have 8. So, ito yung missing term natin, 8, 16. So, kung na-observe nyo, nag-divide tayo once pa left side yung missing. Pero, pag pa right side, minomultiply natin yung common ratio. So, 8 times 2, 16 times 2, 32, 32 times 2, 64, 64 times 2, 128. So, a certain bacterial culture doubles in number every hour. If one is placed in a glass beaker at 8 a.m., how many will there be at 12 midnight? So, every hour doubles in number. So, when you see double, so this is our common ratio, double. So, 2. Then, 1 is our first term kasi 1 ang inilagay sa glass beaker starting at 8 a.m. So, ano yung ating nth term? So, we have to find our nth term. So, from 8 a.m. to 12 midnight, we have 16 hours. So, therefore, our nth term is 16. So, we have to find 16th term. So, our common ratio is 2. A sub 1 is 1. So, n is 16. So, use the formula. A sub n is equal to A sub 1 times r raised to n minus 1. So, substitute A sub n, we have A sub 16 is equal to A sub 1, 1 times the common ratio 2, then n raised to n minus 1, and that is 16 minus 1. So, 16 minus 1, we have 15. So, simplify. A sub 16 is equal to 1. Then, multiply to 15 times, we have 32,768. So, our 16th term is the product of 1 and 32,768. And that is 32,768. So, ito yung 16th term natin. So, therefore, there will be 32,768 bacterial culture at 12 midnight. Alright, I hope you have learned something about our discussion today on geometric sequence. If you have questions and suggestions, just comment down below and I will answer that later on. So thank you. See you on my next video tutorial. Goodbye.